Hello and welcome to Gammon Brexit News once again. Episode 2, it's a long time since episode 1 because I've been away on holiday. I'm obviously on a staycation because leaving Plague Island is proving to be rather expensive and potentially quite difficult. But nonetheless, a staycation in Scotland was very welcome, very nice. It was a great place to go, and I'll be visiting there again soon because I actually have family there, and it was really nice to see them after so long away. It's nice to be back here after so long away as well, and what a tumultuous day it has been since the useless politicians came back to Westminster. Suddenly, we've been given the news that we're all having a 1.25 at least percent pay cut as of April next year, because the government are putting up national insurance, essentially they say, to pay for social care. But for the first few years of this tax hike, this money is not going for social care or palliative care or end of life care to stop people from having to sell their homes to afford care when they've paid national insurance all their lives anyway. No, for the first few years, this money's going to the NHS. Fine. But the question needs to be asked, where are the media in this? Why are the media not bringing up images of the Boris Brexit bus, offering to leave the EU and pay millions back into the NHS? Where is that money? What's been done with it? How has it been squandered? Where's the Brexit dividend, the Brexit bonus that was going to give money to the NHS? Why are we having to increase taxes to pay for it? Why is the economy shrinking? Probably because of Brexit. Now, the Exchequer, the government sort of finance department, they must have in their models and their predictions that the economy is contracting because we're exporting less to Europe because we simply cannot export being a third country. So fewer exports, loss of revenue is very, very damaging to business. But also, if businesses aren't turning profits, then they're not paying taxes into the Exchequer either. So they have a dwindling pot of money. So what best to do? Tax everybody through national insurance, which incidentally, if you read your council tax statement, if you live in the UK, you're already paying a significant portion of that tax to social care. So this is a levy. It's not a tax. It's effectively, you can't have two taxes for the same thing in this country. That's why, unlike petrol, they have tax on it, but they also have a fuel levy. It's two ways of taxing the same thing. It's a way of sneakily imposing new taxes on something that you're already taxed for. So this is a stupid, crazy situation. The other thing, it's a 1.25% effective pay reduction for everybody. We're all going to be less well off every month because of this new tax. Now, also today, with more bad news, they're taking away this triple lock thing on pensions. So pensioners aren't going to get the effective pay rise that they wanted or they thought they were going to get. And they're probably also going to be taxed on NI, because I do believe that you pay national insurance on your pension. So that should please all the Tory pensioners that have been lifelong Tory voters, because they're getting a double whammy. Less money given to them in one hand and more money taken away in the other. Also, with national insurance, this is a tax, they could have put it on income tax, but they didn't do it because, particularly in Scotland, they've got their own income tax raising powers. So if the UK government were and they do in Wales as well, but they just don't do it. So if the UK government were going to do this, those two countries could have said, well, no. But because it's on national insurance, and devolved nations have no control over national insurance, people living there have got no option but to pay more. Excuse me. The other thing that's also come to light this week is that this wonderful, kind, caring Tory government are going to take about £20 a week away from people who are on universal credit. So, okay, if you're on universal credit, you possibly don't pay national insurance, but nonetheless, you're being hit in the pocket really hard. So what are these things going to do? Well, the national insurance increase is going to hit probably the poorest people harder because they can't really afford a 1.25% pay cut. I know I'm going to find it difficult to lose so much money every month because it's money that I've planned for. It's money that I use. It's perhaps I could put it in savings or I just spend it. It's a pay cut. Same with the people on universal credit. And 20 quid a week for somebody on universal credit is a lot of money to be losing. So the kind, caring Tory party seem to be doing this really well. And these effective pay cuts for workers and people on benefits, well, that's going to compound the misery for what's already happening in, once again, rip-off Britain. I had an email from my energy provider this morning, or was it yesterday morning, to say that my gas and electricity, both of them have effectively risen in price by 10%. So that means I'm paying 10% more every month for gas and electricity. Now, with gas, I could heat a little less water, or I could cook less, and maybe get that 10% back, but I very much doubt it. You see, I try to cook my own food, I try to be healthy, I'm not reliant on takeaways and things like that. I'd rather eat something healthy. That's going to cost me 10% more. As far as the electricity goes, well, okay, I've been working from home for the past sort of 18 months, so if I continue to work from home, then my fuel prices go through the roof for electricity, another 10%. How do I cut back on that? How do I use less electricity? I've already been forced to change my light bulbs to these sort of new halogen type bulbs rather than traditional ones as an energy saving measure. I already switch things off when they're not in use. I don't leave the TV on standby or the computer on standby. So an increase in electricity prices is very, very difficult to avoid paying more money. Also, when you go shopping, suddenly the price of food has gone up quite dramatically in this country, if you can get it. Given my last video about the supply chain issues, getting actual food is becoming increasingly difficult, and the price of fuel for vehicles is really expensive as well at the moment. If I put petrol in my car, it's costing maybe 40p a litre more now than it did a year ago. So imagine this effect on supply chain too. Plus, with the increased cost in employing drivers, the increased cost in fuel, the actual lack of food being picked in the countryside, the lack of people to process it in processing plants, supplies going down, demand's going to remain the same, so simple economics says prices have to go up. So we've got a food price crisis as well. Also, buying manufactured things. The Office of National Statistics have published figures saying that factory input prices, so materials that manufacturers receive into their factories to make things, well, that price has gone up by 9.9%. So do you think the manufacturers are going to cope with effectively a 10% increase in the price of raw materials, or are they going to pass that on to the consumer? Well, of course, given that manufacturing is a business, that price is going to get passed on to the consumer, along with higher fees for logistics, warehousing and delivery, a bit of a lack of food going on as well. It's a perfect storm. Inflation is inevitable. Now, given that the government have just effectively given us a 1.25% pay cut as of April next year, prices of food, domestic energy and travel fuel are going up exponentially. This is going to put a big squeeze on people. Those who lose the 20 quid off universal credit, those of us who have a pay cut, are going to find it very, very difficult, because I can't see companies or the government giving people a pay rise according to real inflation. It'll be some fabricated nonsense, and they'll say, oh yeah, inflation's low, so we're going to give you a very low pay rise, but then on the other hand take away 1.25%. So it's not boding well. I don't think the government have thought this through, and really As my first question, where is the media in this? Where is the opposition in this? Why are they not screaming from the roofs and showing images of the Boris Brexit bus? Take back control, save money, we can invest more money in the NHS. It's all proving cataclysmically wrong. They lied to people, people bought their lies, and unsuspectingly voted for this complete nonsense. The reduction in our economy, because effectively we're no longer the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, it's doing something else. It's still in Europe. It's away from Great Britain. Great Britain is going to have massive problems. These numpties in government seem to sit on the front benches laughing and scoffing at the opposition when they actually oppose, and just ask them, why don't you agree with us? Well, that's the function of opposition. But the opposition need to take this government to account, hold them to account now, because this is wholly unacceptable. Prices are going through the roof, people's incomes are being cut. It's a recipe for complete disaster. But that's what I think, so please leave some comments in the comment section below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll be back with another one very soon. Thank you.